unusual little review because this is going to be the first review that uses 3 cameras, not 2. And I'll show you why, you know, as you watch this. Now, anybody who has watched my little Bendix compact video may kind of recognise it a little bit in the same way that it's made by the same company. Yeah, this is a Eudora made Servis. It's a Servis 386. However, I may have forgot to also put dimensions in the last video, but all Eudoras kind of measure the same from this time period. They all measure just under 65 centimetres tall. They are just over 45 centimetres wide and just a little over 43 centimetres deep. So these are tiny. They have a handle either side, one there, one there, and you can just pick it up, and that's what they're designed to do. They're designed to be brought out, connected to the sink, wherever you're doing washing, and that's it. Now, neatly, they have put some programs, and I'm going to do that on the fascia here. But it's quite basic, really. So it just says basically white cotton at 95, use program 1, colour fast, use program 1 at 60, white nylon, use program 2 but at 60, coloured polyesters, use program 2 at 50, non-colour fast cotton, use program 1, delicates, use program 3, and wool, use program 3. It's literally use at 40, program 3. Yeah. Then we've got special white cottons at 95, use program 1, but select no spin. You've got rinse and spin, which isn't rinse and spin, it's rinses and spin only number 5. So there we go, we've got, of course, got stop. Now, when you turn the dial, you must always push this in and then turn it. When you release it, it will automatically always start. So we've got program 1 there. We've got a little icon there with 2 baths, then 2, and then we've got a solid black bath. And then program 3, which obviously is for your delicates and woolens. Then 4, which is rinses. They basically fill with water and then drain. And then 5 is spin only. Look, if I let go, it should start. Oh, it's not plugged in now. That's why. Then we've got 2 buttons here. Bottom one, you've got spin, no spin. And then the top one, the main wash only, and pre-wash. Quite simple, really, and how that works. Just before program 2, it will run that as a pre-wash instead. If you're wondering about timings, they're pretty linear regardless. So program 1 from start to finish is about 60 minutes, program 2 is around 45 minutes, program 3 is about 25 minutes, and of course spin takes as long as it needs to. Temperature, of course, 95. No, and then obviously completely off. Open door, you push here. Yeah, and we've got a little seal here, but that's basically your tub. So your tub's basically attached to the machine, and that is why it's so light. There's no counterweights in this machine. Inside we've got this drum. Now, this is actually deeper than the old Bendix tub drum. The old Bendix is 2.5 kilo, about £5. This is rated at £6, or around 3 kilo on the UK market. And also has much smaller holes, which, believe it or not, delivers much better spin performance. It's quite staggeringly good, considering it has 1 spin speed. at 550 RPM, and that's it. And yet you can get some staggeringly good spin results for 550 RPM. Right. Can you hear that? That's clicking. But there's a reason for that, because it's how this machine works. There's something I will show you. That's plastic. In fact, I can't really tell how it's kind of... And then it's just mounted with 2 screws. Is that it? Brilliant. And that's just one piece of metal. And that's plastic as well. Just something to also note, it does seem to leak around here somewhere, so... If you're washing with barely anything in it, it just leaks water, unfortunately. You can see why it's been leaking here. Oh well. Gotta remember, it's an old machine. Oh, also down here we've got our drain filter. You twist that and it comes off. So we've actually got the back off. We're going to keep it off. That's just popped off. I have still got it, so it should just clip back in. We've got one of them, 2, and then one at the bottom there, and that's simply where you wrap the wire around your mains cable once you're done. Also, we've got our ratings plate there. Servis 386, serial number 1173696. It uses a 2000 watt heater. Yep, a 2000 watt in a tiny little machine like this. It heats up really fast. Max spin 550 RPM, etc. Right, we're at the top here. So we've got a triple valve on the normal Bendix. Little Bendix I've got, it's only got one valve, and that will go straight from there, straight, and fill through the door down here. But this one, you got a direct fill, which actually now goes into the drum, which is obviously if you select pre-wash. So it should fill up through there. Once it goes onto the main wash, you've got this line here, which goes and takes your main wash detergent, actually labelled here in English. And then you got this one labelled softener for the final rinse. Also labelled in both English and German. Is that right? Right, we've also got this shaft. This is connected to your timer, but the timer also runs at the back of the machine. There are your handles, one there built in. And then your 2 switches down here. So, what's going on there is quite a lot, really. So this timer is just a giant cog, right? And it's being pushed round by this. So as that goes up, and every time it comes back down again, it turns. It actually turns this thing here. So it doesn't matter which way it goes, it's always going to turn it the same way. So that's why while it's running, you always hear this clicking. And on spin, it clicks 10 times faster because it's clicking. It's going round 10 times faster. You know, and that's how that works. Because basically, in a nutshell, what's behind this pulley here is a lobe that's like an egg shape. And that is what's controlling it from going down, going up, going down, going up, going down. Because it's running on this egg-shaped lobe. But yeah, that's all that timer does. Quite clever. Simple but clever. What's that? Is that really just a thermostat? A giant thermostat? That's external. And so it is. Yeah, here, that is your thermostat. But it's external. Obviously, the machine will have it obviously adjusted so that the difference with air will affect it. So, you know, when you touch it and you go about 35 degrees, that obviously there's a small airspace there, it's going to affect it, lower it down to 33, and that'll be 40. Quite interesting the fact that you put it outside the tub. They're not attached it anywhere else. Because down here we've obviously got the motor. There's our pressure switch chamber, heater, and of course there's no NTC on the heater. And then this, which is your out of balance sensor. Like I said, there's no concrete weights or anything like that. So what the machine will do is when this starts to spin, see at the bottom we've got 4 rollers and they're all pointing sideways, not back to front. And of course that means when it starts to shake, it starts to move. But of course, as it moves, you know, unbalanced one way, it has to be unbalanced the other way. So as it gets pushed that way, it will also get pushed backwards again. Of course, you can't have it running about in your kitchen. So what this has is a metronome effect. Right. It shakes a little bit, absolutely fine. Shakes too much, and there is a lever that is pushing up, which then pushes against the micro switch and tells it to stop spinning. It will then slow down again. This will start slowing down. When that slows down to nothing again, it will try and spin again. Really simple. Also, how it tumbles the same way constantly throughout. So it has like this tumble pattern, and even during the spin, so when it starts to spin, right, it's part of the same tumble pattern still running in the background. So when it stops mid-spin, because obviously it's too unbalanced, you could be somewhere in that pattern up. And that's why often I see it often stop, tumbling that way, come to a dead stop, go backwards, and then stop, and then immediately try and go into spin. That's already quite low. That's like 50 or something like that. That's the only problem with the pre-wash. You have no control over the temp of the pre-wash. Let's quickly show the drawer. So we haven't put anything in because it does accidentally fill the powder. Anyway, that's 50ml powder. Max is probably 150ml powder. There's your fabric softener. Max fill lines there. Probably take around 50ml of fabric softener. So yeah, we've got foam on the floor. If it gets foamy, it will come out the steam pipe at the back. So we'll just enter the main wash. What's that quick for? So they are not very well spun. In other words, it took that long to try and balance, and when it did eventually spin, it didn't spin for very long. It can spin for about 5 or 6 minutes. Right, when balanced sort of within if it balances within the first few tries. However, if it can't balance at all, it'll either finish without spinning or finish with very poor results. So I'm going to give this out of 10 then. Well, I like the simple idea of it. Because this has a fixed tub, it means it doesn't matter how much jiggling about on whatever vehicle it's on, you ain't going to break it. Not like the Zanussi Studio lines and the Candy Aquamatics of the time. This is also smaller in size physically, but the physical drum size is about just as big as the Zanussi by this point. So actually that's pretty good. And spin performance, okay, not as good as the Zanussi. Especially not on this term right now where it's kind of failed. But if you do get it to spin for 4 or 5 minutes, believe it or not, the spin performance, despite being 550, is not that far off from the Candy Aquamatic. Then you've obviously got the length of the cycles. It's pretty bare bones, but it's pretty quick as well. You ain't going to achieve the same via the Candy, for example. The only thing that's close enough is probably the Zanussi on the synthetic cycle, and that's about it. So it heats really fast. It washes okay. Rinses, well, it got quite foamy really, considering it did like 4 rinses, and it's still not rinsed. It's a bit worrying. So let's give this out of 10 then. Well, it's got another fault as well. I added the detergent to the main wash after we started, when it hit the main wash, because the on the main wash, on the pre-wash, it will take on water and put water into the main wash compartment at the same time. Well, that's not very good. So it's got little problems here and there. But it's also incredibly quiet in operation. I was quite staggered really how quiet it is. So what am I weighing it up as? I'm going to give this 7.5 out of 10. It does better than the Candy actually in certain ways. But the Zanussi just is like a whole, a whole universe kind of ahead. But in the right certain situations, the only machine you could have is one of these. And to be honest, that's not a bad compromise. This isn't truly terrible at all in any way, shape or form. And thanks to the new, slightly bigger drum, you now can put a full set of bedding all in one go, rather than having to split it. So there we go. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this review. Don't forget to give us a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell. Although whether that actually does anything, I don't know. I've done it before, and it doesn't seem to really change anything. And don't forget to give us a comment down below. All helps. Alright, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in another video. So bye for now.